Well, good evening. We want to welcome you to In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman. And I tell you guys, we are so excited for being with you guys on this evening. I know it's been a minute. Last week we had some technical difficulties, and the week before that, there were some scheduling challenges. And so we're just excited to be here with you guys to share In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman. I tell you guys, as we come into the close of this year, 2019, we are just so thankful for all that has happened, all that has been accomplished in our lives and in the lives of the listeners and the viewers. And we're just so excited for even the next chapter of In the Blender. Just by way of announcement, we want to let you guys know that this tonight will be our last Tuesday night doing In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman. We'll still be doing our Facebook program, but we're working on some things as far as schedule-wise concerned, and some trying to keep our ears open as far as instruction as relates to this area. And so we will still be on, but we just won't be doing Tuesdays like we've been doing for the last 2.5 years, almost 3 years. And I tell you, it seemed like yesterday when we started, but we're going to be giving you guys another day soon to let you guys know the new day and time that we'll be on. Or you just may see us do some pop-ups for right now until we solidify that new date and that new time. And so, we just want to let you guys know that tonight will be the last night, last Tuesday night for us doing the live In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman. I tell you guys, it's just been an awesome journey. A lot has been accomplished. A lot has been revealed. A lot has been done over this last 2.5 years. And so we're just excited. I mean, some great doors have been opening up to us. Some opportunities have been opening us to us by way of In the Blender. And so we just want to be obedient. We want to make sure that we maximize this opportunity. We maximize this vehicle so that we can effectively minister to the millions, the masses that we've been called to minister to. And so we just ready for the next move. We're ready for the next move. And again, we're just thankful. We thank you guys for tuning in every single week, regardless rain, snow, shine, whatever. You guys are there. You're with us. You're supporting us. You're sharing us. And so we want to thank you guys so much for just being a part of this awesome opportunity of sharing our blended life with you guys. And also you sharing your blended lives with us. And I tell you, it's just been awesome getting to know you, getting to experience life with you, getting to grow with you. And so, man, I tell you.
And you sound like we're going away.
No, I mean, but we've been doing this 2.5 years on this Tuesday, every single week. And so, it is like, wow, this, but again, it's like life. There are chapters that move, that close, or that end. Not that the book is over, but the chapter ends. And so this is a chapter that will be ending. The Tuesday nights In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to be off it. Let me make this clear. Yes. We are not going off the air. We are not going to be sharing with you guys. We're just going to be doing it a little differently.
We're not going to be sharing.
We're not going to be on Facebook or on radio. We're not going to be doing any of that. We are going to be still doing that.
Our Thursday nights are still the same on WJMS, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So
Correct.
That's not changing at all.
It's just our Facebook time, again, because of scheduling, some other things that we're doing to not only enhance our lives, but to enhance the lives of so many others that are contacted and connected with us. And so that challenge, it became clear that we need to readjust some things as far as schedule-wise. And so In the Blender will be coming on at a new day and time We haven't solidified that as of yet, but we just want to let you guys know that tonight will be the last Tuesday episode. And so a broadcast. And so, sweetheart, let's go into some statistics because I'm ready. I'm excited. We're going to end this one this Tuesday with a bang.
Okay. 23% of married adults have been married before.
Okay.
92% of all men and women marry by the age of 50.
Go ahead.
16% of children live in a blended parent, blended sibling, or half sibling.
Live with
a blended parent, blended sibling, or half sibling.
Go ahead.
13% of adults are blended parents. That's 29 to 30 million.
Wow.
15% of men are blended dads. That's about 16.5 million. And 12% of women are blended moms, and that's about 14 million.
And I've been running to a lot of blended dads. A lot. I'm talking about a lot. I mean, I'm running almost every other guy I'm talking to nowadays is a blended dad. And so there's a market, there's a need, a desire, an avenue, a venue for In the Blender, because there's so many people that are either entering into this dynamic or that are already in this dynamic that need some instruction, that need some guidance, that need some understanding, that need some wisdom as relates to how to navigate the blended family. Because as you guys know, In the Blender can get a little messy. And so that's one of our slogans. And so we share like we share because it can get a little messy. There's a lot of different moving parts to this blended family dynamic that a lot of people don't even really understand until they get in it. You go in it thinking one thing, and then once you get into it, you're like, wow, I didn't know all of this was a part of that. Well, guess what? There's a lot that plays in the success of having a blended family. And that's, again, why we share the way we share, why we're so open and transparent the way we are, because we don't want you guys to just get some information that seemingly is not applicable to your daily living, to your family, to your blended family. We want you guys to know, hey, listen, just because we went through this does not mean you have to. But if you are going through it, understand that you can make it, that you win. Not that you can make it, but that you win.
Right.
Because we win in every area, and I mean every area. And so we are just, oh man, excited. These statistics are just like, wow. I mean, 13% of adults are blended parents. That's huge. That is huge. Actually, that number is higher. You know what I'm saying? Because statistics change every single day. And so these statistics aren't old, but as the days go by, they become old.
Right.
And so, I mean, things are just, this blended family dynamic is growing by leaps and bounds. Because there's so many different ways that families become blended. And so we're excited. But, we just want to share with you guys, I mean, especially this episode, just, man, what we wish somebody would have told us. I don't know what you guys wish somebody would have told you, but there's some things we wish somebody would have told us about the blended family. We wish we would have known. Really, because I'm going to tell you guys, I mean, you heard our story, and there's a whole lot more to our story that you guys have not heard, but you will read, because there are some books that are coming out soon as relates to our life and our family life. And so, I mean, it's awesome. It's phenomenal. But there are some things we wish we would have known coming into this blended family dynamic, because we didn't have proper counseling as relates to this. You know what I'm saying? Our counseling was the quickest counseling ever known to man. And so we weren't privy to get the type of counseling that a lot of you guys have been privy to. And some of you that haven't been, that's why we share the way we share, because this can assist in that counseling. Not that we're taking the place of that counseling, because we encourage counseling.
Yes.
We encourage counseling. You want to get, if you're going into, I don't care what type of dynamic you're going to, but specifically a blended family dynamic, you want to have counseling, because you got biological parents, you got children, you got half siblings, you got child support, you got alimony, you got a lot of things that play a part in this thing. And if you don't sit down and talk about how these things may affect or will affect your marriage, your family, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. Because there are going to be some things you're going to be like, oh my God, I did not know I was getting into this. Or the famous saying we hear so many people say, I didn't sign up for this. Mm-hmm. And so, no. So we want to make sure that, we give you guys all the tools necessary to be a success, but we want to also encourage that you seek out that counseling. And so what's the first thing we wish somebody would have told us, sweetheart?
That you like things your way more than you think.
Say what?
Yep, you like things your way more than you think.
So listen, guys, we wish somebody would have told us that you like things your way more than you think. Because some people think they don't like, I'm good. I don't care how things go. I'm good. That's a lie. You like things your way more than you think. And that blended family dynamic will expose just how much you like things your way more than you think. I mean, I know I thought I was pretty cool, but man, when we entered into this, I found out real quick I like things my way. I like things my way more than I think, more than she think, more than the kids think. I like my way more than anybody think. And it was almost shocking how much I really like things my way. I mean, I was borderline selfish. See that pause? No, but really, and most people are. Mm-hmm. Most people are. Most people don't even know they really that selfish until you enter into this dynamic, because guess what? There's a whole lot of give and take. There's a whole lot of give and take in the blended family dynamic, because you're going to have to please and appease everyone in order to be successful, in order to have peace, in order for it to grow. Mm-hmm. And so I wish somebody would have told me, hey, listen, buddy, you're going to like things your way more than you think. Now, what I eventually did was I made my family's way my way. I began to make my family's way my way, and it changed the way I wanted things to now coincide with what they wanted. And so in the beginning, when I was making a mess, I just switched it up and I changed things up. And so because I changed things up and started making their way my way, then guess what? I began to appease everybody, or at least bring a level of peace and stability in the family, in the household, where we can all get along and want to get along. And so once I started doing that, it made things a lot easier till we got to the point where we wanted to be a part of each other's lives. Or specifically, they wanted to be a part of my life. He said it that way. Yeah. And so, no, but I had to make a change. And so the change is easy. Did you hear what I said? The change is easy. Instead of liking things my way, I just now begin to find out how they like the things, or how my wife like things, how my children like things. I found out how they like things, and I incorporated it into how I like things, and I made their liking my liking, and then we all were on one accord. We all were on the same page. And now it made things a lot easier because I moved self out of the way. So That was big, and that's why we made that number one. That was big. I mean, we could talk days upon days about how much I like things my way. How much? What's the next one, sweetie?
There may be some jealousy with the ex.
There may be some jealousy with the ex. Ooh. Yeah. Wish somebody would have told me that one. Because there may be some jealousy with the ex. And let me say this, there doesn't have to be jealousy with the ex. Let me be clear on that. There does not have to be any jealousy with the ex, but unfortunately, a lot of times there is. Because what happens is it's a wake-up call. There's an old saying, one man's junk is what, sweetheart?
Another man's treasure.
Say that again.
One man's junk is another man's treasure.
One man's junk is another man's treasure. And I'm not saying you're junk. I'm not saying they're junk.
Right,
what I'm saying is that's a saying that people look at when relationships change.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you didn't value, what you didn't hold in high regard, somebody else will. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you see that happening, or when that person sees that happening, then all these emotions and feelings begin to come up that now there's a problem. When you were once cool, everybody was on the same page. Listen, we were amicable about the separation, about, our decision. And then now all of a sudden, there's strife coming up. There's envy coming up. There's jealousy coming up. All these different things are coming up to try to hinder and stop and block this move. Why? Because now they're seeing or appreciating too late what they should have been, what they don't have anymore. And so
like they used to say, what's the other saying? You don't miss the well till the water run dry.
You know what? That saying is kind of interchangeable, because some people say you don't miss the well until the water run dry. But then I heard some people say you don't miss the water till the well run dry. So, I mean, it's like, which one is it?
Like, yeah, it's like dumb stuff that we used to hear growing up. That's all.
But,
like, huh? Wait.
But in any event, you ain't thirsty until ain't no water. So that's the basic of it. But really, I mean, it's real. A lot of times when people see that you've moved on, especially when it comes to the family part, and there's another family involved, there's other children involved, there's a lot of things that may come up. You know what I mean? And we've been transparent with our relationship and with our children's biological parents' relationship. And so one of the things that I shared previously, even with my son's mother, the first statement that was made when I was like, hey, listen, I really don't have to give you this information, but I'm giving you this information, is that I'm about to get married. And so that while we were once amicable and cool, now all of a sudden there's a problem. But that was a decision that was made by her. And so we had to initially handle that. And we handled it well. We handled it, so well. But some people can't. Some people don't know how. Some people don't even know that that's going to happen until it does. And then when it happens, they lose their cool. Well, guess what? I was the type of person like this. I'm not going to give you that power. I'm not going to give you that power to pull any strings as it relates to my home. And so I'm going to do everything that I can do to make this peaceful. Mm-hmm. And so understand that there may be some jealousy with the ex. Now, we didn't have that situation with the girl's father. We didn't have that situation. We sat down, we talked, you know what I'm saying? I said, listen, sir, I'm not here to replace you. I'm asking your permission to allow me to assist you in raising your daughters. And he granted me that permission. Mm-hmm. Granted me that permission, so much so that, hey, we switch roles. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we both play a valuable role in their life, but I feel like I'm the dominant dad, and he may feel like he's the dominant dad, but we work so good together. There is no jealousy. Even I remember one Christmas Eve, our middle daughter was having a dinner, and she was introducing us, and so she introduced my wife, and she said, hey everybody, this is my mom, and then she had myself and her biological dad stand up, and when she started the introduction, she started with him first, and she said, "This is dad number one," but before she can get the in there, he stopped her, and he said, "No, let's make this clear. I'm dad number one. He's dad number one." And the people in the room was like, huh? Because they never heard anybody say that before. Right. But that's the extent of our relationship. We have such a great relationship where, even when I'm working out and I put posts on Facebook, he's cheering me on. Like, yo, man, do it. Do your thing. And so
and then the kids are grown now. They all 30 and above, but we're all still connected because now there's grandchildren.
Exactly.
So, it goes on and on.
Yeah.
So the relationships, really they're never ending.
No, but remember a year and a half, with 2 Mother's Days ago, he fixed Mother's Day dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And
at the middle daughter's house again.
Listen, and this guy is a phenomenal chef. When I say phenomenal chef, this dude is like, he should be on one of those shows. Like, this dude is a phenomenal chef, and he literally fixed Mother's Day dinner. And I'm talking about, oh my goodness, I ate till I was.
Was it Mother's Day?
Yes,
it was.
It was Mother's Day
because she had dinner.
Yes, okay. Yeah, because she was supposed to be fixing it, but because both of them cooked. And I'm talking about, oh my God, this dude just, put a spread out there. But those are the 2 different dynamics that came along with that.
Right.
One, we had some initial jealousy. The other, we didn't. Mm-hmm. But there was no expectation of it at all. And we wish somebody would have told us, hey, might have a problem there. Because not that we didn't handle it well, because we handled it very well, but I would have been more prepared to handle it.
But it was still a issue for a while, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Although it was handled well, it was still something that went a long time into our marriage, though.
Yeah, because
when you said you handle it well.
No, I'm saying I handled it well.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
But it was an ongoing, process.
Yes, because you're talking about years where I wasn't getting visitation rights. It was so many things that were going on. It was a lot of things going on. And again, it's going to be in the book. Wait for the book. So what's the next one, sweetheart?
You can have a hard time not comparing this life to the one that you previously had.
And now, I thank God that wasn't our issue. But you know how many people continue to compare their former marriage to their new marriage or their present marriage? You don't fix food like that person fixed food. You don't clean the house like that person cleaned the house, or you don't make money like that person made money, or you don't wine and dine me or treat me like that person do or did. And so there's a lot of comparisons that people haven't divorced themselves from. Mm-hmm. They haven't separated themselves and severed themselves from those things. And now they're in their new or current family dynamic, and it's causing problems. Mm-hmm. It's causing huge. Listen, I talk to countless people on a daily. I'm talking about really on a daily, because I'm always sharing my faith. I'm always sharing what I do. And so you'd be surprised how many people you encounter that's, you know what, man, I'm in a blended family. And this is some of the issues we have. And we begin to talk about it. And I begin to share with them, how they can overcome that and how they can be triumphant in that issue. And so there's so many people that have a hard time not comparing this life to the one that they previously had. What's the next one, sweetie?
It's possible that you will have a hard time putting your marriage first.
Oh, man. I wish somebody would have told me. That for me, that was hard because I was full-time ministry.
Mm-hmm.
I was full-time ministry, and not only was I full-time ministry, I was on the road 48 weeks out of the year. So I was traveling 48 weeks out of the year, and me putting my family first was hard because I was used to that. I did that for three to 4 years of traveling like that. I traveled so much, guys, that I would come home on Saturday, wash clothes, repack my bag, and leave again Monday. And that was my schedule, 48 weeks out of the year. And so it was hard. I mean, this one right here, she said, listen, I ain't married a traveling dude. So you're going to have to do something or I'm going to have to do something. Just let me tell you that the next week, I was no longer traveling.
I don't know if it was actually the next week, but
it
actually ended up playing out where
everything ceased.
Yeah, it kind of didn't have to happen no more.
But let me say this:
it was still some traveling, but it wasn't to that extent.
But that was in a matter of 1 to 2 weeks though, when things really. I mean, I don't know what kind of prayer request she put up or petition she put up, but it moved quickly. And I'm talking about the whole scene, just like, okay, not traveling that much anymore. Till within a matter of 2 to 3 months, wasn't traveling at all. Periodically, but it wasn't frequent at all. But that was hard for me initially because that was something that I did. And for some people, it could be their jobs. For some people, it could be their outside relationships with their friends and their families. With some people, it could just be
it could be children.
It could be children. It could be a multitude of things. The reason why it's hard putting your marriage first, because watch this. That's the basis of that blended household is that marriage. And if you don't know how to put that marriage first, one of the things that allowed us to be victorious in all that we went through was because we knew how to put each other first. Although it was hard at times because it was scheduling and a lot of other things, but we wanted to be first with each other. No ifs, ands, buts about it. I enjoy even to this day, 20 plus years later.
21. 20, well,
22 together, 21 married.
Yeah.
Yes. So even to this day, man, I enjoy this company. I enjoy my wife's company. I mean, I enjoy her company like you would not believe. Almost so much. She like, dude, you need a hobby.
Go do something.
Go do something.
Go outside and play.
Go find some friends.
Go downstairs somewhere. Get away. Like you ain't got no friends. Oh Lord.
Y'all see how she treat me so bad.
I got friends.
I got friends.
He ain't got no friends.
I got friends. I got Facebook friends.
Well, then you need to get on Facebook sometime and talk to them.
Oh goodness, no, but really, I enjoy that time. I mean, I do. Now, let me say this. I enjoy that time because that's how I position myself to do. Now, I said that because a lot of you guys have, even with that, a lot of people have struggles with spending a lot of time with their spouse and with their families because you haven't positioned that in your heart. That's not the posture you've taken as it relates to your family. I took that posture. I took that posture because of things I saw growing up. And I said, I just didn't want to do the same things. And so I made my family a priority, especially after I found out that they weren't a priority. Because early on, they weren't a priority like we discussed. But I began to make them the priority that they should have always been initially. And so got to make that marriage first priority. Go ahead, Speedy.
You would never be comfortable about the littlest comments about your children, even if it's coming from the one that you said you would spend the rest of your life with.
Ooh, y'all hear that? You will never be comfortable about the littlest comment about your child or your children, even if it's coming from the one that you said you will spend the rest of your life with. You won't be comfortable with that. Did y'all hear what I said? You will not be comfortable with it. Let me say something if I want to. Really? Really? You feel like that? You said that? Yeah, I said that. That's the way I feel. Oh, really? Well, let me tell you something. No, but really, you won't feel comfortable. We talking about 20-some years later. You still got to almost tiptoe around that issue. And watch this, vice versa. You talking about my son? What's wrong with you, girl? Keep my son name out your mouth. You're supposed to be keep my son name out your mouth. No, but really, and we laugh because listen, we laugh about this. These things that we share with you guys are hilarious to us because we've been doing this for years, and so we just learn how to laugh about it because there's no need to get serious about it. We ain't going nowhere. They're definitely not going anywhere, and so you just begin to laugh about those things. But we know some people. You better not talk about that baby. I don't care if they are grown. That's still somebody's baby that they not comfortable about you having a comment about. Why is that? Mm-hmm. Why you like that?
Because I'm my kid. That's why. Don't talk about them. That's all I know. And they mind, don't talk about them.
Oh my goodness. What's the next one?
Oh no. Interactions is the former spouse or biological parent does not have to be unpleasant.
Actually, it should be
interactions with the former spouse or biological parent does not have to be unpleasant.
Yes, those interactions don't have to be unpleasant, man. And I was just sharing with a brother, even on last week, we talked about that. Those interactions don't have to be unpleasant. A lot of times they're unpleasant because you make them unpleasant. But they don't have to be unpleasant. Why should they be unpleasant? I love interacting with my daughter's biological father. You know why? Because we have daughters together. Did y'all hear what I just said? We have daughters together. I love interacting with this dude. We got daughters together. We got a vested interest in each other. I am invested in his life. I have a vested interest in his success. I have a vested interest in his prosperity. Why? Because that's my daughter. He's my daughter's father. And so why would you want that person that has a biological connection to your children not to be successful, not to be on top in every area of their life? Because guess what? If they're not, it affects them. Yeah. See this big boy stuff. I'm a big boy, and I handle big boy weight. You want them to be successful. You want them to be on top in every area of their life. Why? Because if they're not, it's going to affect them. I don't want to be a success and he be a failure. What kind of nonsense is that? Why would I want to be a success and he a failure and that's affecting their lives? Because guess what? That's their biological father. And bits and pieces of him are in them. Yeah. So why would I want him to be a failure when that bit and piece can be lie in them? I don't want that to awaken. I need that to be dormant dead. And so guess what? You don't have to have interactions that are not comfortable or unpleasing. Make them pleasing. Set yourself, position yourself, make it your posture that you're going to have a great relationship with them. I don't care what you think about them. I don't care how guess what? Feelings are fickle, man. Feelings change. things change. If you begin to look at them in a better light, guess what? They'll become a better light. And if they don't, that's on them. But that doesn't mean your interaction has to be unpleasant. I refuse. That's one thing I refuse to do. Even with my son's mother, I refused that. We didn't argue. We wouldn't argue. At least I wouldn't argue. So if I wouldn't argue, you can't argue because it takes two to argue. And so I just wouldn't go down that road because I'm not going to have interactions that's going to be unpleasing. Go ahead, sweetie. Did you want to say something on that?
You can love the children as if they were your own biological children. Look like we wrote something a little different on here.
It actually says you can love the children as if you were the biological.
Well, I ain't got my glasses on.
That's how I got mine on.
Yeah. You can love the children as if you were their biological parent.
Woo-wee. Yes, you can. No, watch this. Because you initially, that's the position you put them in.
Right.
I've never in 22 years, specifically 21 years of marriage, I've never, ever addressed, introduced, or spoken about my daughters as being stepdaughters.
Right.
Never once.
Mm-mm.
Never once in 21 years have I ever spoken with them, calling them stepdaughters.
Right.
Not once. From day one, they've been my daughters. I took ownership of them because I took ownership of their mother. She became one with me, and because she's one with me, they're one with me, and there is no separation. I couldn't separate her seed. I couldn't separate the things that she carried for 9 months and raised. I couldn't separate, not things, the children. I'm just, yeah, I couldn't separate that. And so I had to initially make that my position. Man, listen, oh my God, I had 3 daughters and they had to change their diapers. What? Man, that was big for me. I stepped into a gravy relationship. I mean, a gravy relationship. Still gravy, even to this day. But guess what? You can love them just as if. How do you love a biological child anyway? You choose to.
Mm-hmm.
You choose to love a biological child because guess what? Everybody that have children don't love their children. Everybody that have children, let's be clear on that. They should love their children, but they don't. So that's a choice. And you could choose, just like I did, you could choose to love them as if they're your biological. I love them so much as my biological that when we introduce each other, if you don't know us, you don't know that they're not my biological children. You don't know that. Especially the way we relate to each other.
That's true.
You feel what I'm saying? But that's the posture that you take.
Mm-hmm.
And watch this. And I never hinted, lean to them calling me dad.
Right.
Now, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I don't care because I'm still their father. It don't make a difference. Now, we got this running joke in our relationship that when we first met, I was a minister in my former ministry. And so that was my title. That was not my name. And so because of that, they always call me what?
Minister Hyman.
We in the house, y'all. Ain't nobody around us. We in the house. And what they call me, baby?
Minister Hyman.
Sad.
Minister Hyman.
Sad. But watch this. That's what they were comfortable with.
Yeah.
And because they were comfortable with that, I didn't want to break that. I wasn't going to force them or suggest to them to say anything other than what they were comfortable with.
Right.
Until they got comfortable with saying dad. When they got comfortable with that, guess what? Man, my chest got 8 inches bigger. But it was 8 inches bigger on the inside anyway. because I felt that's the way I felt anyway. But I didn't force that on them. But even to this day, sometimes I still hear what, sweetheart?
A lot of times you still hear that, Miss Simon.
Can y'all pray for them?
They 30 plus now, still saying the same
thing. What's the next one, sweetie?
Oh, Lord, I can't see that. The blended family can be made.
Can be made.
Or formed in a particular place or by a particular process.
So the blended family can be made easy. The blended family can be made easy. But what I wanted to highlight was the word made. And that's what she was defining. Formed in a particular place or by a particular process. So the blended family can be formed in a particular place, here first, or by a particular process, your actions. You can make this thing easy, man. It's not hard. The blended family is easy. It is not hard if you put the proper work into it. Now, there's some work that you're putting in is not the proper work. It's not the right work. It's like us going to the gym. How many people we see at the gym that's been going there for years and their body still look the same? That's a vast amount of people that work out on a regular basis. Y'all know them. You look at them in the mirror.
Stop it.
No, really. You do an exercise just because you're saying I'm being busy, I'm moving, but it's not getting you results. You're not seeing changes. You're not growing. And so in the same way, that's the same way this blended family is. You're going to have to put in the proper work to get the proper results. There are some specific things that you're going to have to do in order to get some specific results, which means it can be made easy if you do the right things. You're going to have to put some work into this, man. The blended family, it can't be prayed easy. It can't be fasted easy. It can't be thought easy. It's made easy, which means you're going to have to put some work into it. You're going to have to deny yourself for the betterment of what you really want, because what I want supersedes what I feel. Let me say that again. What I want supersedes what I feel. And when your wants can supersede what you feel, it's going to be made easy because you're going to do what's needed to be done. If you want them children to admire you and admonish you and love you, then you're gonna, hey, listen, you're gonna make this thing work. If you want that spouse to love you and honor and cherish you and want to be around you, you're gonna put the work in. You're gonna do what's necessary in order to get the right results. What's the next one, sweetie?
The blended parent and the biological parent can function like a team. Man, we kind of talked about that.
But you can function like a team. You know, I grew up in the WWF era, wrestling, and it's specifically I used to love tag team wrestling. I love tag team wrestling because once you got in there and you got your strap on, you just go to the corner, man, and tag that other person, and they come in and pick it up. And y'all could do that for a longer period of time. You know what I'm saying? You could just keep that going. That's the way this blended parent dynamic with the biological parent dynamic can be. You guys should be tag teaming each other. Listen, we tagging right here because this is the position we taking as far as, because watch this. It's not about you. Remember, parent. Parent is the word. That's the word we want to highlight, parent. It's about parenting. You want to make sure that you guys are on the same page, not you doing something one way at your house, they're doing something one way at their house, because the two of you want to have your own identity, or you want to see who is got the biggest britches or the biggest dress. Nah, that's nonsense. It's about the children. And so you're going to have to make choices and decisions that will make you guys function as a team. I remember even when it came down to discipline, when I talked with the girl's biological father, even about that, he said, hey, listen, they living in your house. Now, there's some things that I think you should or should not do, but they're living in your house. Guess what? We was tag teaming because we had a conversation as to how this should be done. And then we made sure that we did according to how we discussed it should be done. And so, listen, the blended parent and the biological parent, you can't function like a team. Anything you want to answer that?
You said it.
Go ahead.
You don't have to assume a position of authority.
You don't have to assume a position of authority. You don't have to do that. You don't have to assume a position of authority because you already have the authority.
Right.
That's simple. You don't have to listen. What do you mean by that? I remember the girl's biological father wanting to spend more time with them. And I remember me saying, you know what? You can come to the house whenever you feel like it. You can come in, listen, you don't have to call me. These are your daughters. You can come, listen, I don't care if it's 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Listen, this was my conversation with him. I didn't have to assume a position of authority because I was the authority.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, listen, if you want to see your babies, but at that time they were 2 teenagers and a preteen.
Yeah.
But they're your biological daughters. And if you feel like there's a need where you need to see them, man, feel free. Mi casa, su casa. But you know what? I never had to work. He only came one time. All the other times they were scheduled. But he only came one time when he really wanted to see him. But the door was open. Mm-hmm. Why? Because I didn't assume a position of authority that was already mine. It was mine. I didn't have to try to be the man. Mm-hmm. I didn't have to try to be somebody that I already was. I just opened myself up so that I can be a bigger vessel and that my family can be blessed. Yeah. What's the next one, sweetie?
Where we gonna jump to? A blended family is very different than a traditional family. Everything that worked the first time may not work this time around.
Yeah. Man, I wish somebody would have said that one. Because a blended family is very different than that of a traditional family. Now, let me say this to be clear. The ultimate goal is that it functions like the traditional family. Mm-hmm. That's the ultimate goal. But coming into it, it is very different because you got a lot of different pieces to that puzzle that you don't have with the traditional family. That's why we're making that clear. But I wish somebody would have told us that. Because there are a lot, you know how many people we all deal with child support issues? Mm-hmm. I mean, that sometimes breaks the blended family up because it's like money going out the house that's supporting the child that they created, which it should. But then now you're having problems because now the bills or things aren't being met there or to the magnitude that you want.
But that's why it's important to have counseling, though, so that all that stuff is talked about up front. Because if there's a child outside of the home and that blended parent is no longer in that previous relationship, they very well should be paying child support.
Most
so
definitely.
That need to be included in whatever those bills for that month. So you got a list of all your bills. That goes right in there.
No, I started laughing because I remember when I had to go to court to set up the child support. And so when I forgot what the lady was called, when she crunched the numbers, she said, well, Mr. Hyman, based upon what you make a year and based upon what she makes a year, this is what you're going to have to pay. And when she was real hesitant to tell me the amount because it was nice. It was a nice size chunk of money going out every month. But when she said it, I just looked and said, okay. And she kind of thought I went into shock, like, are you okay? Like, are you fine? And I was like, no, I'm good. She was like, so I said, why did you ask that question? She said, because most people, when I tell them that number, they get a little irate and flustered. I'm like, but ma'am, that's my son. Why should I? I created that. That comes from me. So why should I be upset about any amount that I have to dish out to help support him? That doesn't make sense to me. But the fact of the matter that she said that to me. And there's so many people that have that issue and that problem. But again, that's why things are so different. Go ahead, sweetie.
Your second marriage will be different than your first, especially with children being involved. You will need to learn a new set of rules. Not only will you have the traditional challenges as a family, but now top that off with the addition of children who have been through a traumatic divorce and ex-spouses who have inevitably can you say that word for me? I can't get it out right. Well, I did say that.
You did.
Bring issues to the mix.
You said it right.
Wait, what you got down here? What we done?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Reading is.
Well, I don't got my glasses on.
No, really though. But again, because you have to talk about children. You have to talk about the children. And a lot of times when you go into this blended family dynamic, most couples just think about themselves. Unfortunately. Or not just think about themselves, but think about themselves more than they think about the children. What effect is this going to have on them? How is it, how is it going to affect them emotionally, socially, all these different things that they go through? Because guess what? There's already trauma that they may or may not be dealing with, even from the divorce or the separation from their parents.
Right.
Because some of them, their parents weren't married, but they were together.
Right.
So that's a separation. But for some, their parents were married, and then that's a divorce. Or with some, a parent passed. Yeah. And so there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of issues that children carry. And so you got to make sure, man, that you understand those things and get exposed to them. What is their mindset? You know what I'm saying? Like my girls flat out love their father. I'm talking about this dude could do no wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so that could have been an issue. That could have been an issue if I would have came from the standpoint of trying to make them wrong. Because that's what happens sometimes. The child's heart. You know the child's heart concerning their biological parent, and you're trying to bring out things to make that parent look bad or not look successful or whatever, or taint their image with that child. And so you gotta understand, man, that the impact that will have, because it's going to have an impact. The impact that will have as it relates to the. You guys have had my daughter. You've seen my daughters up here. We're working on the oldest one. I really don't know what she's going to say, but we work on getting her up here. But let me tell you something. You've heard them as it relates to me and their father. And from their mouth, we don't give them a script. Everything we discuss is unscripted. We don't run it through a channel. We filter it through love because we want to make sure that it brings forth healing, that it brings forth deliverance, that it sets people free, but we don't put no restraints on it because we want to be clear and precise and transparent about everything that we share. So you guys want to make sure that you understand that these challenges that you may have, especially with the trauma that children go through with going into the blended family. Go ahead, sweetie.
Despite the challenges, couples who are committed to work together can create successful and thriving blended families.
Despite of the challenges, man, we are an example. Despite of the challenges, couples who are committed to work together can create successful and thriving blended families. Despite those challenges, hey man, listen, y'all can have a thriving, you can have it. I don't care what you're dealing with right now. You still can have a thriving, successful blended family. You can. We've had some challenges. I'm talking about some crazy stuff, and we've shared it with you guys. We've had some challenges, but guess what? We have a thriving, successful blended family. All of our children are living successful lives, and even successful, even the more as they grow into what they're doing. And so you can have it, but you got to put the work into it. Go ahead, sweetie.
It's kind of going backwards. Okay.
Let's do this last one.
Which one do you want to do? This.
Last one is this, because we almost out of time. Most people make the same mistakes over and over and over again. That's we're gonna close on that, guys. Most people make the same mistakes over and over and over and over and over and over again. Why do we share In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman? So you don't make these same mistakes. And if you're making these mistakes, you don't have to keep making them over and over again. Insanity is doing what?
Doing the same thing, expecting different results.
Doing the same things, expecting different results. You know how many people, baby, do the same thing, thinking something different gonna happen? Guess what? If you keep eating pound cake, you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna keep getting pounds. There's not a such thing as a diet pound cake. It's not a such thing. It sounds good, but even diet sodas aren't good for you. Actually, diet sodas are worse than regular sodas because your body don't even know how to process that. And so, listen, most people make the same mistakes over and over again. We want you guys, listen, life comes with mistakes. There are going to be some mistakes that we make, but those mistakes are learning tools. But you shouldn't be making the same ones over and over again. If you do it once or twice, okay, learn from it. But after the fourth time, man, listen, that's you. That's a problem. You're going to have to deal with some personal issues. You're going to have to be honest with yourself. Why am I keep getting in this same place? Why am I keep getting in this same predicament? Why am I still here and not growing? Don't keep making the same mistakes. You don't have to. Pastor says this. He says, why jump in a ditch when you can look down at the people in the ditch and ask them how they got there? Why jump in a ditch when you're looking at In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman and we telling you how we got there? Not only how we got there, but we telling you how we got out. So why are you trying to jump in it? Why jump in the ditch? Because if you think you're going to do the same dumb things that I did and you're going to get a different result, guess what, baby? You sadly mistaken. You're going to have the same result. You're going to have the same results. And so, wow, we're almost out of time, sweetie. But listen, oh man, this has been good. This has been good. This, guys, we thank you again from the bottom of our hearts because this is our last Tuesday night.
The last Tuesday night.
Our last Tuesday night of us doing In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman. This is not our last night.
Right.
Let me be clear. This is not our last night, but it is our last Tuesday night of doing In the Blender with Brandon and Madeline Hyman, as we know.
Right.
There are some scheduling things that we've been working on and some things that we must do. And so we just had to make some changes, some adjustments. We'll let you guys know soon the new date, if there is a specific date. But for now, there will be some pop-ups that we'll be doing, from week to week, just to share with you guys some tidbits, from In the Blender. And we thank you. We thank you so much for just being faithful with us these last 2.5 years, every Tuesday, airing from 7:30, first 7:30 to 8.
First 7:30 to 8.
And then from 7:30 to 8:30. And so we thank you. We appreciate you so much. How can they reach us, sweetheart?
via email at weareablendedfamily@gmail.com, and also our website intheblenderministries.com.
Yes, and also too, we let you guys know about some sponsorship because we do have a radio broadcast, and if you want to be a sponsor for that, you can email us so we can give you guys all the details as relates to that, because there's some exciting things that's coming even through that venue. And so we thank you guys so very much for tuning in to us, sharing with us your lives, your time. And so we love you guys. We appreciate you so much. Close it out, sweetie.
And don't forget to tune in on Thursdays to Live 365 WJMS Radio from 8 to 9 p.m. And again, we won't see you next Tuesday. We'll be dropping in and let you know what day once we solidify that date and secure a spot. We're working on some stuff, so we'll definitely let you guys know. But don't look for us on here next Tuesday at 7:30 because we won't be here.
We won't be here.
What that we know of. Let's Holy Spirit say something different, because we always led by whatever Holy Spirit says.
Yes,
so
correct.
And that's what we're doing now, making sure that we hear clearly from Him what direction we should be taking in the blender next. But we won't leave you guys. We will definitely still be on air, just not on Tuesdays from 7:30 to 8:30. And with that said, we love you guys. And again, thank you for tuning in, and God bless you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.